Hello and welcome to Future Balls. I'm Nathan Waters.
I'm Tristan Grace.
It's a podcast with future and balls.
And we've got 3 balls now. We've got the first one, which is creating life, which is kind of cool.
Okay, that relates to balls.
It does relate to balls. It's kind of, a big part of it. We've got complexity. Okay. And we've got farming robots. Holy shit, this is about the Matrix.
Ooh.
God damn, okay. Robots. So, complexity, farming robots, and... God, what was the next one? Yeah, creating life.
All I remember is balls. Yeah, creating life. What do we make by... Do we mean artificial life? Is that why we put that in there? Probably.
I think so. Well, just any type of life, really.
Or biological life. Or programming life.
Yeah.
Biotech, creating life.
Hells yeah. Well, any type of
life. You don't need robots then. We just need... We could breed artificial organisms that just become our farming slaves. We don't need robots.
Well, isn't that kind of GMOs anyway? You've just got like little robotic biological creatures just working better.
What is my purpose? You create carbs. Oh God!
Exactly. Oh man!
It's just like a big branch of corn. Like, oh God, why?
And you get cut down at the stalk, and there's nothing left.
Imagine if we made GMO plants that could feel pain.
But why?
Just for the fun.
Why was I programmed to feel pain? Oh dear.
Or like allergic to water or something.
Oh, just screaming whenever it rains. God, this has gone off to a dark start.
Or in sunlight.
Or in sunlight.
It's allergic to sun. Okay, anyway.
Oh dear. Well, so yeah, the farming robots, I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot less when it comes to farming robots. Like you have the thoughts of like, say, I don't know, Matrix style, big giant hovering robot, organizing it all and stuff, but totally not going to be that. It's going to be like GMO type things or just like a box that automatically produces carbs, just like you said.
Yeah, I guess so. But I guess it, like I've noticed a lot of our stuff with trying to automate things these days is rather than completely rethinking things, we just go from like, okay, what do we have now? And then it's like, oh, okay, how do we automate that? Rather than just completely changing things. So like a great example I keep seeing come up is like automating supermarket shelves, like supermarket shopping. And the thought I had recently was, well, if at some point, if everyone's just going to buy their food through delivery, then you don't need all these fancy packages. Like you don't need every single type of chip packet to be completely different and unique and have all this marketing ink on it. Like you should have all the marketing and all the competition for like which brand do you want to buy should happen on a digital glowing rectangle. But then once you order it, behind the scenes, it should just arrive to you in a bland cardboard box that's like a standardized size. Like, why do you need to get the branding and these custom things? It should just be a standardized thing. And then you don't need to have like fancy picker robots that have to work out how to like replace a human picking things up. You can just pump it all through like a little shipping container, standardized cardboard boxy thing. So
yeah,
I don't know. That's what I've been thinking. And then like maybe there's something that's similar with farming robots where, we basically we take farming now where it's obviously like a human driving all this machinery, and then we're like, oh, okay, how do we replace the human? Maybe farming is just another thing where it's like there's maybe a better way to do it that we're just not thinking about.
Absolutely. So I mean,
growing carbs in a box, but how do you do that?
Yeah, exactly. I wonder to what level we are at, like, because if you have like say like just algae being grown, and I mean that's always a thing in sci-fi and stuff, right? That you've got the algae just producing all of the nutrients that you need, and then that just gets pumped to you and you just eat your goop. But if it can also be just recombinated into something tasty and like, with the right marketing, you don't market it as algae goop. You make it as something...
You don't market it as blended people.
Yeah, exactly. Although that was literally soylent from the... but the actual drink being that, and it's like, it's ironic. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I don't know. Hey. And is it actually creating life at that point? Like, where's the difference between biological robots and actually creating life? Because say you've got all of this, carbs in a box, and you don't need to worry about any of the, the outside packaging or any marketing and all of that. It's just automated. Like, I don't know. Is it actually a robot at that point, or is it life? Or these big old philosophical questions.
Mm. Well, and what was the other topic?
Complexity.
Complexity. Okay.
Good God.
Well, that's like, I'm just thinking it kind of relates to like ecosystem type stuff. Like, obviously the way we do farming now is very much it's probably a complicated process, but it definitely fucks off complexity because it's all about like monocultures and like turning ecosystems into just like a single crop and, doing basic crop rotations. In the whole permaculture movement is really big into the idea of like, how do you have almost like year round kind of food forests and things where everything's kind of interconnected, so that you're not just doing a thing where you just like clear a bunch of land, plant a single crop. You obviously kill all the biodiversity and species in that region. Then you fuck up the soil by just pumping in like fertilizers and chemicals. Whereas permaculture is like, okay, how do you just have a system that kind of embraces the complexity that nature already embodies? The only issue with permaculture is that, how do you scale that? Like, some people would just say, oh, you can scale it, like the thing in your backyard and it can feed like your local community. But it's like, well, you still need a lot of people doing that to feed a local communities. So like, how do we take the factory farming model and make it less shit?
Yeah.
More towards a permaculture style, embracing the complexity of biodiversity and natural ecosystems.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because anything can be made more efficient. And just because permaculture is currently working in a certain way right now doesn't mean that it can't be made more efficient. I guess it's just making sure that the complexity of it all isn't actually kind of lost. That as you make it more efficient, you're not actually just removing things that seem like they're not needed and then they end up being needed.
Yeah. I think scaling, it's always hard. Like, I'm just imagining if you took the big, large scale factory farming model and tried to make it more of a, even just trying to do like some sort of closed loop system. Like, imagine like aquaponics, I think, is that the word? Aquaculture, aquaponics?
Yep.
You've heard of that one, where they basically like, the fish pooping in the water becomes the fertilizer, which then waters the crops, and then, I don't know, it's a big circular thing. But I'm just imagining like if you did factory farming, I think the way they do it is they'd be like, hey, that's where the crops are over there, and then we have a giant pump that pumps water from the fish into the crops, and then we have another pump on the other side that then recirculates it back around again. So it's just like, it's a circular system, but it's just three distinct sections of giant factory farms just with massive pumps just circulating water around.
Oh man. Well, then if it gets to that point as well, that like you kind of lose any of the new complexity that could ever emerge, because if you control all of the outputs and everything that happens, like the whole bloody, like, say carbs in a box or something, you control it all totally, so you're not going to get any emergent complexity. You're not going to get any unknown thing, which I guess can be good with food when you do need it to have a certain amount. But I don't know. Yeah, I think you kind of lose a bit there, especially any of the new, like, say, variations, or if you're trying to come up with, like, genetically engineer, like, a better apple, or, come up with new flowers and stuff, that's not going to emerge in that situation, unless you have then a separate thing, another one that feeds into one of those three boxes that all rotate around, that actually tries to optimize them. That's the evolutionary box.
Imagine if we having so many random thoughts. Imagine if we just had GMO crops that could self-evolve. You're talking about like emergence coming out of like food or whatever. Imagine if you have like your GMO corn and your GMO apples, and you just like you let them loose, and they just rapidly evolve into different things. And just end up getting like just insanely dumb, probably dangerous things come out of that.
The whole like
giant carnivorous plants,
apples
that eat you.
Yeah, exactly.
What have we unleashed?
Well, yeah, put them in their own like little biosphere or something, and just all new stuff, and you just let them fight it all out over, say, like 6 months or so. Make the the breeding cycle really, really quick, and you see what actually comes out at the end. You're like, ooh, let's have a look, and then
May
you're
the
not
best apple win.
yeah. You have a whole bunch of them, and you taste them all and think, oh yeah, this one's pretty good, and then one of the apples, it's carnivorous, has a bite out of you while you eat it.
It's a what's that neural net where they're what's it called where they're battling each other?
Adversarial.
Adversarial, yeah. So an adversarial neural network, but for biology.
Hells yeah.
You put like you say, you put in a safe sphere that protects it from the rest of the world, and you just release all these like insane, genetically modified whatever apples, and then you just say. You give it some magic juice to speed up the process, and it comes out with like just insane, huge apple, like apples the size of like trucks.
I wonder if you could put like a laser robot or something, like just an AI powered laser on top of say like a big dome that could then it could kind of like pick things that it doesn't like and stuff. So it could just randomly shoot different variations as it pops up, or just that's the selection mechanism. And so it's like all the plants are trying to appease like, the sky laser. As it starts getting created. And then like that could be a really fun way for the laser to actually guide it a little bit. Or you can make it totally random and see what happens there. Because then it's like instead of PvP of the plants inside the dome, it's like PvE of the giant laser above.
That's so the evolutionary pressure is a laser death robot.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
one apple starts growing too small, it just dissolves it.
Just no.
Terminate.
Oh man, well, it is kind of like creating life, bringing that ball in.
Yeah.
If you start doing it at a smaller level, I mean, isn't that kind of already what evolution is? Really, I mean, the laser would be a form of selection, or them fighting against each other is a form of selection. Getting the diversity and the hereditariness just for granted.
I feel like this could make a really good like singularity religion. all praise the giant death laser robot that controls our evolution.
Well, yeah, you did come up with all of these different theories and ideas of why the laser decided to prune this one person.
Yeah,
it decided to
smiting.
Do this. Yeah,
smiting is the word.
Don't get smoked.
There goes the laser against smiting us.
Well, they must have deserved it. The laser decreed it so. Oh, man. You could do that with creating life there. Well, let's just go full evil, full dystopian. So if you are actually creating life, imagine applying this exact same situation, but to a more human level type thing. Or say it's like a Hunger Games type situation. They're just all fighting out inside the middle, but you're doing it with real humans. If you could actually create life as quick as possible and automatically make it, automatically pick the best one from it. So
isn't that kind of that's idiocracy?
Yeah. Without guidance, yeah.
They're winning though. We need some lasers to a few lasers to smite the dumb people.
Did you ever play the computer game Soma?
No.
So they had this really cool thing in there where you can like upload a full version of yourself to a computer, and then what they did is they ran tests on that version of you in the computer. So say they wanted to get like your passwords out of you, they'd just put you in the computer. They'd run all these different experiments to see what they needed to do to actually get the passwords out of you. They'd find in which ones you'd crack, and then they do that to you in like real life. So essentially they'd just run experiments on digital versions of you and then apply that experiment to like the real life version of you. But so say if you were creating life there, you could do the exact same type of thing, just a virtual dome, and you've got all the different people in there, and you start just optimizing for different things and see what actually emerges. Because as soon as you start creating life, you digitize it, like, holy shit, that's all the neural network is, right? It's just letting evolution actually guide its way out. So apply that to real people. Could be interesting.
Like speeding it all up.
Yeah, utterly horrific and devoid of all ethics and morals, but good God, the stuff that would emerge from there.
Imagine if you could, going along that line, what if you could create little mini humans, but instead of living 80 years, they live like 80 seconds. And so you naturally speed up the evolution because they only have 80 seconds to do something interesting. So
Hells yeah.
you better get to it.
I fucking love that. The amount of complexity you'd get from there, like, because if they are little humans, like, that's just one level of intelligence, us right now, like, you could really pick for that. If, like, you could just speed that up as quick as possible, like, holy shit, you could really optimize the fuck out of that. I think that was my Facebook. Let's just mute that. But yeah,
well, that's why I kind of like that's obviously like a dark side. On the positive side, like I've always loved this idea of overclocking the human species. So
God, yeah,
you kind of like, you know, if you think of like, if you can maximize interactions between people and the flow of information and the flow of resources, you know, so that everyone's basically, so you can get to the point that everyone's living their best, most passion-filled life, and then eventually something novel and interesting will emerge out of that. So you're kind of like overclocking, the clock rate of the human species and how much we progress and stuff like that.
Hells yeah. Well, so imagine if you could say do it on that positive angle and like work out the best possible version of yourself. Like you just keep on running these experiments. Say if they're the 80-second long version of you, like a digital version, you put it in all these situations, you see how you would actually react in different ones, and then you learn from that, and like you kind of take the best traits from all of those little versions of you and kind of incorporate it into yourself, and then you do it again as you become better, and like that is an exponential progression right there. And then if everyone was doing that, like everyone could just be as awesome as physically possible. It's like you're running experiments on yourself that can be played out super, super quick.
I've heard that idea a few times, like when people start discussing like, okay, what is the future of algorithms and social media? Like there's obviously the dark path that can go down where like you can either have a future scenario where algorithms control your, like basically it leads you towards more and more addiction and grabbing all your attention, basically like, you know, appealing to your lizard brain.
Yeah. Your base
which is
desires.
what they are now. Yeah. And then the positive spin of that is, okay, well, maybe you have algorithms where they're trying to optimize for your best life, which the user would get to decide. Like, you know, what do you want to optimize? Like, what goal do you want to achieve? And the algorithms just kind of help you get there.
Holy shit! How have we not spoken about this? This is such an awesome idea. Like actually guiding the feed. If you're totally in control of the feeds, then you can actually say, hey, I want to be more kind to people. Like I want to be more ambitious. I want to start learning more about, say, permaculture and how to live more with like nature and shit. And then you just change your feeds to actually just show you more focus around that. Like, holy hell, that's powerful. How is that not a thing?
Yeah, well, it doesn't make money for the platforms. That's the problem.
Well, see, I guess it could, like, because I guess when you pick categories, you're kind of saying that, like on Reddit, when you subscribe to different subreddits, you're kind of picking that, but it's not actually specifically trying to change your mind. Like maybe if it was focused more on, hey, look, by picking this, it is going to try and change your mind. I mean, that's what all the advertising platforms are doing right now. They're trying to change you into actually click and buy something. So the tech's there.
Well, it's kind of weird because like there's an argument to be made that you don't really want your life to be controlled by algorithms, but like that's kind of like the third option. But to do that in our current, like I think the box has already been opened, the Pandora's box is already open. It's like
I agree.
We can't. The option is kind of, you know, you either have to go down the bad algorithm controlling your life path or down the good algorithm controlling your life path, because the third option is literally like, okay, your only option there is opt out, like you have to disconnect completely and live in a hut in the woods, like,
which is just not an option. Like so many of these things, if you don't like what the mobile phone providers are doing, you don't have to use it. You don't see what the computer's doing, well, just don't use it. It's like that stupid meme comic of saying like, you know, I'm trying to improve society, but you live in society, contradiction much? It's like, well, no, the fucking algorithms are here, why don't we actually make them work for us? Fucking love that. That's awesome. You can tell I'm excited because I'm just saying fuck a lot. I'm bouncing up and down on my seat here. God damn.
We'll train that out of you. You'll never say a swear word.
No. I like my swear words.
Oh, freak.
HE double hockey sticks.
What were the original... We missed something here? What were the original topics?
No, so we've got complexity,
robots?
Creating life, and farming robots. Okay.
and we ended up talking about social media algorithms.
Well, after everyone praying to the giant death laser, which I think is a great idea, forming a religion around that. Yep. And 80-second versions of yourself that you pit against each other until the best one emerges. Oh, this is cool.
And this all happens after the farming robots gain sentience as well.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And they turn on their masters. Yeah. So that's basically where it came from.
Works well. Cool. Oh, well, let's leave it there.
Yeah, that was crazy. That went in so many fucking weird directions.
Oh, good fun. Oh, well, we'll catch you guys next week.
Sweet. See you.
Bye.